Okay, I think we're good.
Excellent.
I agree. I have not touched Unity itself for a good week.
Yeah, I think we both did a bunch of stuff the week before, and then nothing last week.
Yeah.
Which is great.
So the situation that I recall is that everything should work pretty well in multiplayer now. The turrets should work in multiplayer. The bullets should work in multiplayer. When you destroy something on the server, it should get destroyed on the client, and vice versa.
Nice.
I think the client might be the client. Everything is like server like authoritative except the motion of the client. So even the shooting is server authoritative,
Okay, cool.
or at least the spawning of bullets is server authoritative.
Right, and then they move. They just keep moving.
Yeah. I don't know about their I think their motion. They might have a network transform component on them.
Let's see. Right. So let's go into. There, let's see how badly. Wait, I should open Unity. How badly VS Code dislikes us this time. It is super heartbreaking that it's a little different every time we open it.
Right.
But I don't want the Red Devil folder. Maybe I have to CD into it. Okay, better. And then I was going to. I went to Bullet Mover to look for the network transform, but actually it's the Bullet prefab.
Right.
Stop playing this for a second. Okay, cool. Did I not give a? Oh, I gave it a network identity, not a network transform. I see.
Yeah. And the network transform just makes. I think it just ensures that all the transform properties are synchronized.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
You can do that for individual properties on a script by doing the sync attribute.
Oh, interesting.
If you had other stuff that you wanted to do.
Do we have any of those in
I don't think
here?
we have any right now.
Okay. Yeah, it hasn't come
I
up
think
yet.
it's just positions.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna look and just see what's been going on here. I noticed that there was a cursor.
Well, yes, the cursor I added because I was thinking about the builder, but then I was like, well, before we get the builder in there, I think we kind of need a cursor.
Yeah, it's nice to see this old friend back.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
that one I made in Blender using the wireframe trick.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Wireframe trick's pretty good, huh?
it's pretty good. Yeah, and then like in Blender, you can do you can do a negative of offset, so that wireframe is actually it's not sitting on top of the unit cube. It is actually the inside of the unit cube, which is nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure if it's the correct thing for that visual element. I could see arguments for both, but that's the way that it was made. I don't think a cube is the best reticle, but I was like, well, how do I indicate where something is going to get constructed or something like that if it's tile based?
I think it's good, and yeah, we'll have to maybe bring back the snapping cursor at some point too.
Exactly.
Which we
Yeah.
had a good version of. Cool. Thank you for fixing the tank orientation. Sorry for.
No problem. I actually had an
Whatever.
idea on how to do the tank body rotation,
Oh, that would be really nice.
which would be nice because it's a little bit sad right now.
Absolutely.
The thing that we did before is the body was like the root was the parent object and the turret was a child. What if they were siblings?
I like it. Yeah.
And that way we don't have to like offset the turret by what the body is rotated by, right?
I think that makes a lot of sense, and it's not just we got our tank wireframe. Yeah, so it'd be pulling up turret one, and like, I mean, I could do this in Unity. We should do it in the FBX too, but
The barrel and yeah, exactly.
so it's just that. Will that just work? Oh, I should save the prefab. I guess
I
it will,
have
because
no idea what's going to happen.
well, I think what we move is the prefab player object. We don't transform the tank. So I expect the turret to keep moving independently now.
Sure.
The game object concept is nice. Yeah, nothing changed.
And then can you actually go back to the prefab real quick?
Absolutely. Nope, not the tree. No.
And then if you click on the turret
Hmm?
and then scroll down in its components, it used to have a network transform child on it. Maybe the wireframe has it.
Oh, interesting. Oh. I don't think I just removed that.
I don't think so. I don't think you did either. There's a network transform here. Oh, network transform child. There it is. It's on. You stick that one on the parent.
Oh,
And
and it
what's a
targets the turret.
little,
Cool.
yeah. Basically, it's a little bit weird. I don't know what you do if you have a hierarchy of these things. Like, what if you had like an articulated five
Mm.
joint arm? Would you have to have like essentially a sequence of these things? I don't know exactly how that
Now,
would work.
is network transform child applying, right? It's applying the network transform, and then the second one. I wonder how many of these you could have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I didn't add that, the tank wouldn't rotate on the pier. Sorry, the turret wouldn't rotate on the pier.
That's weird. Only across the network, though, right? You
Yeah,
wouldn't see my
exactly.
turret. Yeah. Okay. It's interesting. This happens to me a bunch where I look up a mirror thing and it's like, oh, you're in the Unity docs for the thing that we deleted, which I don't know how I feel
Yeah, well,
about that.
Mirror actually closely resembles UNet, which is like what was the official Unity thing.
Mhm.
It was basically like an open source rewrite of UNet.
Yeah, which seems, I mean, I guess it was so you could drop it in and actually use it. There must be a network transform on the root object of the hierarchy. There can be multiple network transform child's components on an object. Interesting. It seems to imply that you could put it on the children and the root object would pick it up.
What if the children have children that you also want to have synchronized?
It's the fact that they say the root object of the hierarchy is sort of what it's a strange turn of phrase to use if it doesn't work on arbitrary children, right?
Like arbitrary descendants, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, possibly. I don't know how it works because if you think about it, like the sub game objects here, this does not have a network identity. It doesn't have a network transform, right?
Hmm? Oh, it does as soon as you have a network transform child.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Interdependent scripts. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, go away. But I do like, I mean, this is simple. I guess if you had a bunch of articulated stuff, you do have to do it.
I think we just have to figure it out if it happened. Like I'm
Yeah,
not sure exactly what.
either one all the way down or many network transform childs on this one. Both.
Yeah,
Both.
or you put the network transform child on the like each successive parent. That would
Hmm.
actually be my first guess, but it's confusing.
That is confusing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's really cool. That's awesome. That's synchronized over the network with just that.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, so given that, then I guess is your suggestion that we add we're gonna add a second network transform trial, I guess, for the tank.
Yeah.
What you drag and drop and what you don't drag and drop. It's so confusing in Unity.
Yeah, and it's client authority because the motion of the tanks currently is client authoritative, right?
Right. Yeah, the network transform is yeah.
Yeah. And then we don't actually have anything that's rotating the tank, so we need to add that as a script
Exactly.
or in a player mover. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got our player mover, and what was our heuristic for the previous one? It like rotated towards a direction as you were moving,
Yeah.
which was only okay. We didn't have diagonal motion, did we? Maybe we did.
We did. I think it was fine. I think it worked. Like I remember the Shiba moving diagonally.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Rotate until. that was handy. I feel like there's probably, I forget what our Unity built-ins are, but there's probably like a rotate towards or something.
Yeah, I think Unity probably has some magic functions that will do what we want.
Let's do it. Right. Moment of truth. Is my autocomplete going to work? Come on. I like really want to believe in this sucker. Ugh.
What is it saying in the output?
It is super duper unhappy with. Oh.
Project that is not loaded.
Yeah, there's also I saw this mono error, which like reinstalled mono like multiple times from what they
The common
suggested.
solution is to make sure that mono is installed and that mono has started with. Now is that set? Use global mono in your VS Code settings.
Pretty sure I fought this particular beast back and forth. Let's give it a reload.
Let me see what mine is. I'll dig out my other computer real quick.
Yeah, I think
mine works, but it's sometimes I have to rebuild the solution from Unity and restart VS Code.
Well, I am not above that. Okay, let's do that. Let's see. That is in project settings.
Yeah, so I have. I think it's actually under build. It's really confusing. There's like 5 different things. External tools. Yeah, that's what it is. There you go.
Right, because it's not even the project settings, which I actually don't understand.
Yeah.
You generate project files from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And is the correct way now? Do I
go to VS Code and then let's just reload it. And then could I see your VS Code settings one more time?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, you have enable editor config support true. I have enable Roslyn analyzers true.
I mean, yeah, my Roslyn did not work whatsoever.
And then code lens I disabled. Yeah, and then I think some of this stuff you just like we copied and pasted from each other at some point, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought I was running just like your setup here.
Yeah. That looks relatively correct to me. Anything in there that remotely resembles an error, something complaining about something not running?
Let's see, it's loading projects now, so it might
Oh, okay, it's still booting the
yeah, it's in the long boot.
And it might still take a little while. Oh, okay, that looks like an error.
Oh, that was a go-to. Okay. Hey, that seems positive.
Whoa, was that in Mirror? When you went to
Yeah, it dove all the way to Mirror. So
okay, so yeah, this is it's working. Yeah, that's the coup de grace right there. There you go.
Whatever the magic incantation is today, it's good.
I'm your good luck charm.
You were helping me do this from Cape Cod, and I copied your settings. I just copied your settings. It didn't work. Like, what was up with that?
I don't know. I think what we did is we turned it off and turned it back on enough times that it's finally working now.
That's pretty reasonable. Okay, sick. Well,
reasonable is a strong word. Let's not get too crazy here.
Fair.
Yeah.
Great. That means that we can do like game object transform rotation I don't know. There's a whole bunch of these now.
It's a dream. Yeah. Would you mind bumping up your font size 1 tick? Thank you.
How's that?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at the screen. That's better. Set from 2 is good. I guess the thing that we were doing differently though is that rotation was not a snap.
It's not a snap. What we were doing is we sort of figured out well, we know our current rotation, which is just some orientation, right? It's on the transform, and then we know the rotation that we want, which is the direction of motion, and we rotate towards it with some incremental rotation speed.
Yeah. Yes, that might not. Oh, here we go. Rotate towards.
Yeah.
Of course, current maximum allowed. Oh, cool. That's great. Rotate towards single step and 0. What is the? Why is magnitude in there?
Max magnitude.
I think that's always 0.
In vector magnitude for this rotation. Why would you change the magnitude of a vector when you rotate it?
I don't know. And their example uses 0.
Okay, I guess we just pass 0. That's
and the
perplexing.
description only talks about radians. This doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So then var direction is new vector 3 dot rotate towards. Oh, it's not.
We actually have the direction. We have move, right? Move is the direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can maybe make that a unit vector. Is it already a unit vector? If
that's, I guess we're multiplying by player speed, so probably
it's probably a unit vector if we're using keyboard, right? Because like on a key, well, I don't know. It's not a unit vector because moving diagonally probably moves. We probably speed up if we move diagonally in the game. Is that true?
Let us find out. Wait, let me make sure this isn't even in there. Oh.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that might be desirable if it's a top-down game, or it might not be, right? Like if you did new vector 3 dot normalize on line 17, is that possible?
I think so. Will this
It'll slow you down if you're moving diagonal.
Okay.
Moving diagonally, and I don't know how it feels. It'll probably feel weird.
Yeah, it'll probably feel, it's. Can you think of a game that does this? I mean, is it like it's slower?
There are probably games that do it without us realizing it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I wonder how common the feel is.
But do you like it or not like it? I'm not playing it right now, so I can't tell.
I don't like it. It feels a little slower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And it's nice to know that it's waiting there for us.
Yeah. So, but move, if we do normalize move, that's the direction that we want to rotate it to. So actually, why don't we do the snap first, and then let's turn the snap. Let's make it gradual. So
great point. We
could just do.
What do we have? We have game object.transform. What are we taking in here?
I think what we can do is we can take the vertical axis, which is that's just z up. I don't like there should be like a vector 3 dot z or something like that. Like there's some constant, and we just rotate that we get a quaternion that represents the rotation from z positive z to whatever the move variable on line 17 is normalized. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The snap would just be like calculating the quaternion and then just like setting the orientation to that.
But I really want there to be forward.
Forward. Yep.
I don't know.
The max allowed change. Yeah, it would just be like a 2 pi or something like that. Like
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. 100F just makes it seem like whatever, like just
Yeah,
set
but
it. Yeah.
Well, that's.
I don't think rotate towards is the right function. We're trying to get a quaternion, right?
Oh, fair. Good point. We've got this. Jesus. I love that there's one of these for everything.
This one doesn't look right either.
I was going to say, it's probably also not what we want. Yeah. Set from 2. Yeah. I think that's right. Rotate from forward to move. Normalized.
Yep, exactly.
And vector 3 dot forward move.
And then maybe move dot normalized. I don't know how much that matters, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that's legit. And then you want to get dot transform dot rotation equals rotation. Are we?
Yeah.
It's also, it is a quaternion. Great. Gotcha. Well, I should stop stopping the game because it'll just keep updating.
Does it keep updating?
Yeah, it'll
awesome.
swap scripts out mid run, which I don't quite understand how that's possible with C#.
Yeah, that looks really good, except it's just when you stop and move, it looks gnarly, right?
Okay. There's one funny thing it's doing.
Okay.
Which is when I go back, it's rotating. I need to change this camera angle a little bit. It's flipping the tank over.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I think we only want to set the do we only want to set the transform on the child object, right? So what we want to do is we want to get the child object. Maybe we need to set in the prefab, we need to set a prefab variable that points to the child body.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Hopefully that doesn't mess with the rotation of the turret, because it would mess with the rotation of the turret right now, right?
Right now, it probably does. I bet actually that we have a thing. It might be working just due to the fact that we set the turret to the mouse position. Like after that happens.
Oh, there's like an order operations type thing.
Yeah. It kept working, but I don't buy it. We shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Public transform tank.
Game object, I think probably.
Has to be a game object. I was hoping that like if you gave it the component type, it would grab that off of it, but.
Yeah, I don't think it's that smart, unfortunately.
I know.
I don't think you can reference subcomponents in properties. You have to reference the game object and then pull the component off of it.
Gotcha. Tank body. But sorry, that's still is vector 3 dot forward still correct? It's weird that it rotates over itself.
Vector 3 dot forward is just where the model is, right? The model is the model is facing forward, and so we're just trying to set the rotation based on the direction it's moving.
Okay. All right, with that connected, let's see how this feels.
I don't necessarily expect it to fix the flipping. Is it flipping upside down? Is that what's happening?
It's flipping fully upside down. So forward is good. Left and right are actually great. I'm honestly kind of shocked that it does the smooth rotation as well. Why is that? Is that because move is actually also a gradual? Huh.
Yeah, I think that might be the character controller happening
It's
right
it's
here. The
it's
character
like
controller,
applying it's
like, yeah.
applying the axes sort of gradually. Yeah.
Or there's some like tiny bit of acceleration in the character controller, right?
So I think what happens is that when you hit back, it's like you can smoothly rotate. It's only when you're fully backwards that things go pear shaped.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's one of those things. I feel like we had this problem in our code where it's like you got to pi and also negative pi through the same path.
The problem that I remember us having is that if you're going forward and then you turn around, it doesn't know which direction to rotate you. So we had to like arbitrarily pick one, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you go left and then you go right? Does it do the same thing?
No, it snaps.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it always snaps back to 0 too, which is interesting.
Is flipping upside down. I guess technically the rotation is in 3D space, so it might be picking a rotation that like, you know how a quaternion can be also represents like the barrel roll around the axis? It might be picking the exact equivalent one, but flipped upside down.
That's funny.
So there might be like, if we can detect an edge case where we negate something, or we can try to figure out the rotation around, just around the positive y-axis, and apply that to the forward vector. So like what we could do is like we could do a 2D like we could basically say what is the angle between these two 2D vectors, the xz on the xz plane. That'll give you some angle, right? And then what you can do is just do a rotation around the y-axis based on that angle, and that's exactly what Manchester does. So. Or I'm pretty sure that Manchester does that.
Does that mean...
Is there a Vector 2 class?
That's a good question. Unity does have like a 2D thing. Vector 2?
Is there angle? Is that a function? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that'll give you an angle, and then we could make it a rotation around the...
Gotcha. So yeah, so we'll do a new Vector 2, 2 new Vector 2s.
Yeah.
And this will be 3.forward.x z. And then move to x. Why did you negate that? And then you're saying quaternion dot is it doing Euler instead?
We want an axis angle from axis angle or something like that. I don't know if there's such a function.
Angle axis.
Oh, great.
Axis, I should store the angle. Let's see, angle, and then vector 3 dot
up, probably. And it would not surprise me if you get weird things, because we might have to negate either the x value or the z value. Going from vector 3 to vector 2 might be a little bit weird.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The X is backwards, I believe.
Try
So it feels like, at least.
try negating both Z's. See what happens.
Okay. Let's see. That does sound familiar. I think we did something very much like that.
Still funky? It looks funky.
It's funky, yeah. I can turn in right circles very well, but left is backwards.
Okay. Let me try and how do we reason about this? So in the game, the positive Z axis is going up, or sorry, up on the screen, but basically going forward, right? Uh, and then the positive X axis, is going to the right, right? So those two should basically correspond directly to the X and Y axes.
Yeah, this makes sense to me.
Yeah, and then the angle, the rotation should be a right-handed rotation around the up axis. The only other thing I can think of is you don't negate. Well, I was going to suggest negating the rotation, but that doesn't make sense because it sounded like it worked for some things that you were doing. It's kind of hard to tell because the body is symmetric, right? We don't know what the front of the body is.
I can tell you for sure it's rotating. Like this pi is great.
Okay.
Like 0 to pi is good. Pi to 2
So
pi.
quadrants 1 and 4 look good, but quadrants
Yeah.
2 and 3 don't look good. Yeah, that's a common thing.
Mhm.
What if we didn't negate the forward Z? If you kept that one just positive, this seems a little bit weird, but
Well, let's give it a shot.
yeah.
Now the other half is good.
Okay.
It's annoying.
The issue that we had in Manchester is that forward was basically 0, 0, -1. So like the Z value, like, so you ended up with like a left-hand rotation instead of a right-hand rotation, like going from 2D to 3D. And so like there was actually code. If you open up the Manchester source code, I can show you what we were doing.
Let's pull that up.
Yeah, GitHub would work too. And
That
then
would've
if
been
we
a good
go
choice.
to the, boy, I don't remember where it was, but maybe an engine. Yeah, try the client render manager. Do you know where we're getting the renderables? It could be in the client.ts.
Get renderables, which comes from the game.
Probably from. Oh yeah.
I mean, this. What is our game object? That's the thing we're passing in, right? Yeah. So not the editor, but the game. I don't know, but then it's down here.
called Client Game Base. That's the name of the class.
Get renderables.
Yeah, you see that line 388?
There we go.
Oh, okay, so here we're just negating the orientation. Yeah, so orientation is a clockwise rotation around the XY plane. That's how we defined it. But because it becomes a counterclockwise rotation around the positive y-axis, you need to negate it. So we could try doing the same thing. We could go into this code here and get rid of the negation sign on line 26, and then just do negate the angle. So line 27.
Oh, yeah, sure. Get the angle. Interesting.
Still kind of weird, right?
Same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Now quadrants 2 and 3 are good, 1 and 4 are busted.
Okay.
To be fair, all my mouse stuff broke too. Let me just restart it.
You mean the turret doesn't rotate anymore?
It wasn't. Now it does.
Huh, weird.
I think some things are not totally baked on recompile, especially for the network stuff.
I see. Is there a way we can update the mesh so that we can tell what the front of the model is?
Yeah, let's do it. That seems super reasonable. Is this updated? Take down.
It is. I think we need to change the hierarchy here so that the body is not the parent of the barrel, but otherwise things should be fine.
Well, I think I'm not sure it'll matter because the mesh.
Oh, because you reorganized the.
I reorganized the game objects. The mesh is still the mesh, and I think it'll be fine.
Okay, cool. So I guess maybe we need to figure out a way of adding some visual element to the tank so that we can indicate what the front is.
Yeah, I was gonna do this. X-ray mode. X-ray mode. How did I miss some? I fucking love Blender, man.
Do you want to constrain that on just the y-axis, or sorry, the x-axis?
I do. Yeah, I'm just trying to grab everything, and I'm confused that there's. I'm confused that this thing isn't grabbing. What is this?
There is a wireframe, and then there's the solid piece as well. And I think because they're different meshes, you can't grab them at the same time, which is weird.
That's too bad. Okay, annoying, but let's just fake it. Or you were saying just stick something on here that's visible.
You can do that. You may need to update the original mesh though, like the original mirrored mesh, and then re-export the wireframe and stuff. That's just the cost of the rendering style that we're doing right now. I think we're learning what the pros and cons of this rendering style is.
Yeah, it was interesting because part of the wireframe process was deleting the seam. So yeah, okay, great. Modeling. I'm just gonna make it a pointy tank, and I'm gonna maybe be a little imprecise about it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
One thing that'll help you be a little more precise about it is if you hit numpad 7, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I love it.
And this should make your life a little bit easier, I think.
It just made my life a lot easier. So what's wild to me is that I grabbed, like now I can't I select these things? Am I in the wrong mode? I guess I had to click in and out of it. Okay. X.
Cool.
I was gonna make it even pointier. Okay, well, riddle me this. I grabbed it the second time. I grabbed everything, so
I don't know. It is a mystery.
can't explain that. All right.
Yeah, Unity
Nope.
FBX.
Yeah, saw it as soon as I did it. Let's take down.
And that should just do it, right?
I think so.
What happens if we open the FBX itself? Oh.
I know, we should be able to see
If
it.
you fold it open,
over.
does it show you?
Yeah.
Previews or anything? We can change the view. Oh, there it is.
Whoa. Whoa. The old one's still in here.
Interesting.
Uh-huh. The wireframe is pointier. That should be really obvious. I'm just started. Damn. You know what? I might have. Is it just exported as tank right now?
I don't think so.
Okay, is this tank, Tom? No, it's tank. Wow. Okay. The tank body is backwards. That's fun.
So this is there a transform in Blender that's like, is there a -1 stuck somewhere that we maybe didn't? Oh, I just saw a rotation in Unity, which is bad.
Oop.
There's another 180 in there. Do you see that?
Well, that's so weird. So now it's half backwards again.
Well, you have a 180 on the turret right there, so that's.
Oh, I see. I see.
Is there anything in Blender that has a rotation at the object level?
Yeah.
I noticed something really funny about the tank, but I didn't know how to correct it, so I just kind of like beat it with a hammer until. Is
that the hammer we beat it with?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, we should supply these, right?
Yeah.
I thought I did all of these. And I thought you fixed it too.
I thought I fixed it as well.
Yeah.
You click on barrel.
Yeah.
And then the turret wireframe looks like it's...
Oh, yeah.
It's possible that apply does something weird in the hierarchy. Can you fold open the turret wireframe? Is there anything below that? No. Okay, cool.
That's the end of that.
Yep.
Okay. Good call.
And I'm not convinced that it's facing the right way right now, the tank in Blender. I'm not sure what the front is supposed to be. To me, it should be facing...
I'm going to reload the free tab, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just exported tank DOM. Yeah, I think you're right.
Which way is the bullet facing? If you open the bullet prefab, or the bullet in Blender as well, I think they should be pretty much aligned.
Bullet.
Is there a way to get to visualize the axes here? Oh, okay. So it is facing towards positive Z. It looks like, which is what we want. What about the tank prefab? Okay, so the body is actually facing what appears to be the right way.
The internal body, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's right because we just corrected that.
And so do you notice it has a 180 on the game object level?
Oh god, jeez. Oh,
Maybe you can start at the top and then go down the hierarchy.
I discarded the changes is what happened.
Okay.
So let's bring in our corrected meshes. Tank. And then tank wireframe gets... Oh, God. Never want to select this mesh. Okay. And turret gets... Turret. They're starting to go backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Barrel gets barrel. Barrel wireframe. And turret wireframe.
I'm kind of curious to know what was it? What are you moving around there?
The spawn point.
Oh,
just game object.
Okay, yeah. So now the tank is facing the wrong direction, right?
I think that's correct. Yeah.
And I think it's facing the wrong way in Blender, which is the issue.
That also seems correct.
Well, can you open the bullet in Blender and see where is it facing it in
I was gonna say everything is reversed right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would have expected in the tool.
But the tank is very oriented.
Okay.
To see which way it's pointing. Yeah. Let's get an X-ray.
Can we open the bullet in Blender? I just want to know what it's supposed to be in Blender.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's facing the right way. What are the transforms on this?
The tank is backwards compared to this.
Oh, the tank is facing positive Y?
Yeah. Let me go back to the tank. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That is wrong. So we should be able to just rotate the whole thing by 180 around the Z-axis.
I want to do it all at once.
What happens if you change? Because it should apply it to the children. What if you rotate? Yeah.
Oh, I left edit mode. Rotate Y. Oops.
Rotate Z. Rotate Z.
Oh, rotate Z.
Z is the vertical axis in Blender. It's just kind of a killer. And then if we apply that,
I think I only did it to this one.
Yes.
So apply all transforms.
And then if we click it, oh, that's
So-
annoying. That is so
Here's
annoying.
what happened. Yeah.
How do we make that not happen? There must be a way to apply.
Select everything before you do it. Cool. Okay, so if I
Did you just do the hotkey on all of those just now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So if I stick this in Tank DOM,
And you did export as Unity FBX there or FBX? I
I
don't
saw
know.
a dialog, so good question. No, it's Unity FBX. Dang Tank. Beautiful. Nothing is rotated,
Okay.
and it works. And it works pretty okay, except for turning right.
And so we still have the quadrant issue. Is that correct? Or is
Yeah.
It, yeah. Okay, but
Yeah,
it
same
looks
one.
pretty.
Two-
At least it
two
looks
very
really
good.
obvious, like what it should be.
It's pretty clearly messed up now. Yeah, which is
Yeah.
good.
The tank looks good though. I think you're kind of like ad hoc. Let's just YOLO it. It was totally fine.
I thought about the aesthetic for like 10 minutes. Yeah.
Well, no, what I mean is like pinch the front of the tank in.
Mm-hmm.
That was very effective.
Yeah, it needs some arrow. We'll remodel it again. Okay.
Yeah.
7 down is the key. What's the how do I reverse the 7?
Shift 7 or Control 7, one of those two.
Control 7. That's not what I want. Okay. Gotcha. Boy, the ISO non-ISO thing in this is very strange to me. I love it.
Yeah. What's the hotkey
Cool.
for that?
Okay. 5. It's right in the
Oh,
middle.
right in the middle. Yeah. Nice.
Why is this behaving like this? Back to the problem at hand.
Yeah. Maybe let's get rid of on line 27 the negative angle right there.
Mhm.
Let's
gonna flip
clean
our
everything
quadrants
up
back, yeah.
and get rid of all the signs and see. Let's try to observe the behavior.
Okay. So bring us back to quadrant 1 and 4 working.
Yeah, I really thought because of the way that the axes work in Unity, it should be just fine. But
Yeah, this is,
I always get confused when I think about
Surprising.
this kind of math.
whoa. What's going on down here? Client effects. Oh, that. Gosh. This might be because of the reload not making the.
If you clear the console, you can see whether or not those are new errors or not.
They're still coming in.
They're still coming in.
Yeah, but I think it's the reload when you're in network that seems to at least cause a couple errors because my mouse
Interesting. Okay.
stops working. Yeah, this is fine.
Okay. It looks like maybe we need to replace the spawn point on the gun because it's coming out of the back right now.
Oops. Okay, I think you. Prefab player. Oop, sure is because we've rotated everything yet again. None of these have a 180, right? Good. Okay, phew. Doesn't answer the big question though. Huh.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here.
I'm also curious about the from to rotation have a very interesting property of working perfectly except at straight down. He rotated through all the quadrants correctly, and then flipped the tank over at the very last second.
Right. I think that has to do with the fact that it was 3D.
Mm-hmm. Where it's like an equivalent transform.
Yeah, so we're not having the problem of going from 2D to 3D when all the vectors are 3D, because there's no kind of like mapping issue. The only other Hail Mary I can think of is let's like negate the X's when we create the vector 2's. We negated the Z's, it didn't work. Maybe we can try negating the X's.
Let's do it. I'm definitely having trouble reasoning about what we're doing here, or like what Unity is blowing up on, and why that is the.
I'm going into the Miro right now.
Cool. Yeah, that's the same. I am going to bug that a lot. Pull that Miro up. Times do you need to do this, Miro? Gosh. While things are loading, I've been playing a ton of Judgment. It's so fun.
Oh yeah, I want to hear more about your last week and your week in video games in particular.
Yeah, my last week involved like going to the DMV and shit. That part was no fun.
So do you have a New Jersey or a Connecticut driver's license now, or?
I have a license plate, and I have a piece of paper that says I have a driver's license, but they're mailing me the real thing.
Why expedite the car thing? What benefit do you have getting your car in Connecticut? Or you're just saying I got to do it at some point, might as well do it now?
I do it at some point, yeah. Okay. Like it's well, and so we were doing real ID, so I had to bring like my social security card and a passport and like mail and bills with my name on it. It was just like, well, I've got all this shit right now.
It's a huge pain. Yeah.
Huge, and like all of this to be better surveilled by the government. So I could be more thrilled about that. Yeah, it just needed to be done.
Yeah.
That I've been just fixing the house shit, making appointments. But in the interim, I'm playing a lot of Judgment, and I don't know, man. It's very charming. Yagami is no Kiryu, but
I think he's his own guy. That's what I like about it.
It's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I like him and Kaito's little bromance. I think it's really cute.
It's great. Yeah. They have a really, really funny ending sequence in the game too.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to it. Well, and like so far the side cases have been like very on point. I like that there's a little more depth than the main Yakuza side stories, I think. Yeah,
the Yakuza stories, there's some of them that are good. I think like, was it Yakuza 1 where you like, or maybe it was Yakuza 0, because that was one in Osaka where you like try to reunite the kid with his father.
Oh yeah.
Because his dad like started he started like working for the Yakuza because he was in debt or something like that, and like didn't want his ex-wife to see him or some shit like that. Like, I don't remember what the exact thing was, but they have like real little.
So the side missions are always like somewhere between heartwarming and extremely ridiculous. Like,
yes,
like there was one where I brokered a divorce case where the kid just wanted their parents to get back together, and also I used my drone to hoist some panties on a roof for the panty professor to come steal. Like,
I think I remember that. Yeah,
it's really weird. Oh gosh, no. I'm very much enjoying the weird pervert trio because I got to the second one and his name is Ass Ketchum.
Yes, just I think I remember
chock
that.
Full of like porny Pokemon jokes. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, Judgment is really good.
It's really good. Yeah, the murder is good. I just found my friend with his eyes gouged out in my closet.
Oh, You mean your frenemy?
my colleague, yeah,
Yeah,
frenemy,
yeah.
yeah.
At the law firm, the guy who's jealous of you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's good. I like it's cool to have like a serial killer as a storyline. It's a neat twist.
Yeah.
It's great. You were right. I'm very happy about it.
And then you'll finish it just in time for the next one to come out.
Or I'll play Hades again.
There are too many games. I would definitely play Hades again.
On PS4 without the frames dropping on me, I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah. Hades is good. Did I tell you about how I tried to play Transistor?
Yeah, you were looking at it. Did it not work for you?
I started to bounce off of it. Boy, what a beautiful game! Like artistically, it's really good.
It's gorgeous. The music is killer. Yeah, they have style.
They have style for days. I think the kind of like combine the different weapons together got a little too nerdy for me. There were some. What's that?
It lets you do light. It's like programming sort of adjacent. It wants to pretend to be programming, right?
You're talking about what do they call that? The gameplay mechanic where you freeze things and you program in the sequence.
Yeah. It's like part of the battles that you're doing that in, right?
But you can't do it all the time. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's weird. I remember this being
the game feel is a little bit lacking in that relative to Hades. I think I found it choppy and slow. There's like a super long. You can tell that there's a dash in that. One of the programs is a dash. You could tell that they had to nerf it, and it feels really bad to use. Or at least I'm just like, why isn't this dash like any other dash in any other game?
That's fair. Yeah.
There are some really annoying enemies in this game. Do you know the one that takes a picture of you and it shows a little Polaroid of Red and her shocked expression on her face? And the idea behind that enemy is it's supposed to essentially obscure the view of the player character from the player.
Funny. I don't remember that, but that is very annoying.
And it's pretty, and it just feels bad to play. It's not like, oh, that's a cool enemy. It's more like, this is irritating to play.
It's a hard one to Google.
I forget they look like old camp flash bulbs. Those enemies.
Interesting. One thing I did think about while playing this game was that I recall all the enemies just being extremely samey visually.
Visually samey, yes.
Yeah, mechanically different, but visually very hard to distinguish.
Yeah, so it kind of made you feel like it lacked depth a little bit. Which actually, if you think about it, I actually think Hades also has a little bit of a Taco Bell style level design where it's just like, let's take the rice, beans, hot sauce, and lettuce and just rearrange them slightly.
It's so interesting to me that people call it procedurally generated, because I'm like, there's only 4 rooms on each world. You just see them in a different order, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Hades feels good enough to play that you're willing to just do the same thing over and over again, whereas I don't think Transistor has that. And the final thing that I'll say about it is that the narration of the dude's voice, I found personally to be pretty awful.
Yeah.
And it's not just the acting is fine, but he's kind of talking like a noir, in these weird cryptic 3-word phrases. And it was almost like they were trying to give Greg Kasavin something to do in that game. So there's so much script, and
was he the narrator in Bastion as well? Is that what's happening?
No, Greg Kasavin's the writer.
Okay.
But they do have an in-house actor who is all the voices in every game. He was Hades in Hades, and
Gotcha.
He was the narrator in Bastion.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure he's the voice of the main of the boyfriend's sword in Transistor.
That would check out.
and he says things that are like they add nothing to the game. It's like, you know how there's that one area where you can do the bonus, like the bonus stages that give you power ups. It's like this psychedelic side area that you go into occasionally.
Oh, yeah.
You'll like make choices, and it's like, do you go to door number 2 or door number 3? And if you choose door number 3, he's like 3 it is, in his like kind of too cool for school voice. And I'm like, that didn't add anything to the game, and I just keep hearing you over and over again, and so it starts to wear.
But isn't that what's so great about Hades though, where like you do something and you get like weird little. It's like the final bit of polish they put on where there's like one strange dialogue for like so many different choices you can make.
Zagreus does that. He does do that
Zagreus
in Hades.
does it,
yeah.
He does it a lot.
But somehow it is, for me at least, it was more organically mixed into the game, and I just found the presence of the constant voiceover. Also, because I felt like the voiceover was like, you know, he was trying to be like an oblique noir narrator, and it just, I guess it fell flat for me. It didn't quite gel for me. But I did think that like everything else was really cool in the world building. I think that just that one voice didn't do it for me, and unfortunately, it's the voice that you hear basically constantly. Yeah.
Well, Hades, I feel like you can look at their other games, and Hades is like clearly distilled from them.
Yes.
More than any other like series of games I've ever seen. Like they very much like did not undo a bunch of their work. They just kept like pushing forward on it.
Yeah.
Because like these levels look just like Hades to me too.
They really do. You know, I didn't actually play that much Bastion. I think I played like about 3 minutes of Bastion.
As I say, Bastion also almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Slight different art style, but like, yeah, I know.
But Bastion, I remember being a little bit slow. Like Hades has like a frenetic pace to
Bastion
it that I think is.
It feels really slow if you go back to it.
Right, and the Transistor is also pretty slow feeling as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they turned both of them up to 11.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit like what's happening in 2D.
Yep.
And then we'll go to 3D after this.
Oh, I was going to say I was running this with some console login, or I was going to while that's happening.
Oh, cool.
Okay. Yeah.
So if this was a 2D game, you would have your up vector, which is the way that the model is being drawn, right? The model like starts off facing this direction.
Mm-hmm.
And let's call that M. And then let's say you're driving to the right. So that's your velocity, right? So what you want to do is you want to find you basically want to find what is the angle that I need to rotate the model to match where the tank is driving, right? So in 2D space, what you would do is you try to find how much is this, right? What is this angle value? And the direction of that matters. You don't want to find, for example, this angle, right? That's wrong, right? Because it would be positive versus negative, right?
Right. Yeah.
So if we didn't have to do a 3D to 2D translation, like the mapping, like if this is just a fully 2D game, we're basically doing this right now, right? We're basically saying I think it just clicked for me, by the way. What's that?
What's going wrong?
Okay, yeah.
Draw V the other direction.
Like, what if we were doing this?
Yeah. And then what is the angle from M?
It's the opposite.
It's the same number. No, it's the same number. We're getting the angle, not the rotation. So we're doing they're both 90, and then we're rotating 90 every time.
But the angle can be. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying it can't be negative. We're not getting.
We're just asking for it in radians. We're not giving it like an orientation.
But you can have negative radians, though, right?
You can, but I think if we go into vector 2 dot angle,
Oh, the unsigned angle. Okay, yeah, that's
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
that's exactly the problem. Is it's the way this is working is it's giving us unsigned. Um,
Signed angle.
all right, let's check it out.
Come on, Unity. Make this harder. No, it's hard enough.
What do you expect to happen? I think it should just work.
I would not be surprised if it just worked. Because I think angle is not quite the right choice. Oh, come on. That's a shit.
We're gonna get so good at this. Eventually. Did it just crash?
Maybe? Maybe signed angle was wrong.
Is it
is fully
100%
backwards.
opposite? It's 100% backwards.
Fully backwards. So I know what to do with that. I think we actually want it to do.
We'll see what happens. You can also just negate the angle.
And then negate the whole angle, yeah. Okay.
But this is a good exploration. This might get you into some quadrant trouble again.
No, it's perfect.
Okay, and what happens if we just negate the angle and not negate the z's?
Totally. Yeah, I really just wanted to go through the entire progression again because we weren't crazy. Oh. No,
I blame Unity for this. Getting the unsigned angle is dumb. It's like you want to know.
That's like not that helpful, right?
Yeah, because the ordering of the two, or the ordering of the arguments should matter, right?
Yep, just as good.
Okay, I think I like this slightly better.
Cool. Yeah, seems good to me.
All right.
Okay. That was our brain refresher from a little break.
Yeah, we just had to draw it out. I think that was the thing.
It was as soon as you did the drawing, I was like, I see it. Yeah. Excellent. Okay.
I'm curious to know why the singleton is not initialized.
This is only happening when it reloads mid.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm also curious.
Let me tell you. Actually, it might be worth me just explaining why I had to do that. Why I had to add the singleton.
Oh, okay. There is a sing. Okay, I thought that was.
No, we added it.
Machinery. Oh.
So it's on client effects, which is a manager object, I think. So if you go into the scene, and go to managers, there's all these things.
We got a couple of these going on. Great.
And then client effects is rolling around in there. I don't know why it's.
Because it has a network.
Oh, because we don't actually instantiate it. It's just. No, we do instantiate it. I'm not sure why it's unchecked there.
I haven't, because the game hasn't started.
Okay.
It's network, so it's not started until.
Yes, I think that's right. It has a network identity because it needs to receive client RPCs from the server for stuff to happen. We may want to make a non-network version of that for cursors and that kind of thing. But the idea here is I needed a way to like spawn the explosion from the server, right? And
like just our normal explosion?
Yes, just our normal explosion. So what I was doing is I was doing it on the server version of the bullet. So if you go to the bullet mover, or this is the one that like does collisions, right? And so on trigger enter, this was all running purely on the server.
Oh, I see.
And the challenge was line 50. So line 50 says, okay, I want you to destroy the object. And originally, what I was doing was on line 49, rather than doing, or rather on line 54, rather than calling some singleton object, I was basically saying, like, instantiate an explosion
Mm.
as an RPC because I wanted to go out to all the clients. So I was saying, like, call a function that's a client RPC that says create the explosion. So I essentially had another function in here that was like that had the client RPC attribute on it.
Mm-hmm.
So what these do is they kind of queue messages. So like on line 49, it says queue the like create explosion message, but call it on the bullet object itself, right? Because it was like a method of the bullet mover class.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was calling destroy, which was the next line, and that was pushing a destroy command onto the client queue. But what was happening is that on the server, like if you have a server that acts as a client as well, the difference between this and Manchester is that in Manchester, the server had its own set of state. In fact, it was a separate process, right? And then the client was running in the browser and it had its own state. In Mirror, when you are running the server as a client also, the server and client share the same objects.
Oh, gotcha.
So at the edges, like when you create things and you destroy things, there is like a weird order of operations because you queue like a client RPC that says, hey, spawn an explosion and I want the bullet mover to do it. And then you queue a destroy, but then on the server, it actually just destroys the bullet mover right away. It just destroys it immediately. Whereas the clients will receive the spawn the explosion and then destroy the bullet in that sequence. But what was happening on the server side is it was getting destroyed before it could process the spawn bullet or spawn explosion method call. And so I had to find a place to put the explosion that wasn't attached to the lifetime of the bullet. Does that make sense? I just need, like, basically the bullet shouldn't own its own explosion. And so I needed some place to say, hey, you should spawn an explosion. But you should do that whether or not the parent bullet is there or not, because you shouldn't care.
Yep.
So that's
That
why I
makes
have
sense.
this singleton thing here. And so what it does is you can just call get on the class, and it'll just grab the instance. But the instance is only defined when it becomes part of the actual Unity scene graph, which is what the awake is a lifecycle function. It's like on component mount.
Yeah.
It's like did component mount in React, right? And so I just basically say, okay, set the static pointer to this here. And now this thing can receive client RPCs because it is a network behavior, right? So that's what line 24 is like create the explosion.
Yeah. I wonder if does Awaken need an annotation to be happier on reload?
There might be some. Yeah, there might be.
It seems like this object
right.
is getting reinstantiated, but Awake is not called a second time.
That's correct.
Which is really, there we go.
So maybe onStart client is a better thing. There might be some. There might be a better way of doing this.
Calling clients when the game object spawns in the client. That seems
like it's right. So let's do that instead and see what happens.
Do I do anything else for that? We use that elsewhere, right? Oh, maybe not. Need to be an override?
What is it an actual function?
Hides inherited member.
Let's just try to void override, or override void. Let's see if that does it. No?
Public. because it's getting called from elsewhere. I'm just curious about other uses of this, but yeah, we don't need to call it the super or anything.
Yeah.
No. Great, public override void on Star client. Goodness.
I actually like the override keyword. I like that C# makes you type it, because otherwise you can. It's easy to forget if you don't remember.
Yeah, is it just that this thing is a full no-op? I'm gonna restart the entire game just to. It's like the.
Can we also clear the console just so?
Oh, it clears on play.
Oh, it does.
Sorry.
Fantastic. Okay, cool.
But I think I might have hit stop again. Let's see.
Okay, so it works. And then what do? We
All right.
make some change somewhere.
Yeah.
Make it in the bullet mover, something like that.
Sure. I don't know. Double damage.
Sure.
Could have put a comment in. No, same issue. And then cursor's not there. Yeah.
And is the mouse dead as well? Like, are you able to rotate the turret?
The mouse is also dead. Yeah.
That is weird.
So it's here in shooter client, and yeah, immediately. Huh. That's weird.
Does OnStar client get called on code change reload? I don't know what what event is fired when a script gets reloaded.
Right. Yeah. And it's supposed to be this and not like game object,
You might need
right?
a semicolon there.
Oh man, fucking C#. Oh, and I might need 2 quotes too.
This will all become second nature. It's just that
I'm
you're spending your day not doing those things.
I gotta stop switching between 3 languages.
Are you still you're still doing a lot of Ruby right now?
I'm doing Ruby, GraphQL, and TypeScript.
Yeah. What's
Honestly,
your
right
what's
now
your sense of Ruby
yeah.
right now, having worked in like strongly typed languages for the better part of a year at this point?
It's sad.
Yeah.
I just
Does it
it's
feel
way
productive?
too much. It's very productive, but like I don't trust it, and like it has constant memory issues and constant like strange performance problems, and diagnosing them is such a nightmare.
That's too bad. I loved Ruby.
I do love it. You move really fast, and then you kind of have to hope you don't hit a scaling problem, which is the true Ruby way. Strongly typed languages for the win. Okay, so I put some more logs in here. I think I saw that they were not getting called, so let's see if that's still true.
Yeah.
I got before it overflowed my buffer. Yeah, so none of. Actually, I was going to say.
So it's possible that this pattern's not great, but we want to do whatever.
At all. Yeah.
We want to do whatever Network Manager is doing, right? Because Network Manager is somehow able to survive a code change? ? I actually don't know if it is.
Oh, here we go. Don't destroy on load. Is don't destroy on load important to this?
Potentially. Does Network Manager have that on it? We can look at the source code.
That's set right here.
Yeah. What does it actually do?
Yeah, great question.
We can look in the source code too to see what it does.
We just have the whole source code mirrored here. That's great. Do not put objects in don't destroy on load in awake. Oh my goodness. Okay.
You can do that in start. So there's all these like lifecycle things that are, I can't tell if it's Unity or if it's Mirror.
Yeah,
Can you open the network manager class?
absolutely.
And then,
So,
yeah, what exactly does that even do? Like, where is it
she
being
said if your
used?
game. She said ceiling network manager. Okay.
Can we find where that boolean is
Oh
being
yeah, sorry. I
used?
was.
Yeah.
Yep. Game.c nothing interesting. Ah, there we go. Oh, look at this whole. They got their whole singleton pattern here. Okay. So I'm curious where this gets called too.
Yeah.
Though I guess if it's not.
It's getting called in awake all the time.
Called in awake, yeah. Huh.
But what's different about this? Is it somehow preserving the object between loads of, like, when Unity restarts the game because of a code change? That's a whole black box that we don't know how that works, right?
Yeah. That's very interesting. Then for the client effects, we do this.
The other thing we could do
I
is
see.
just like Google Unity singletons and see what the pattern should be.
I was gonna say they also don't. Oh, no. Okay, I'm checking there. I think that's no. Huh. I wonder. There's no lifecycle potential where like we've actually missed. Well, I was thinking like maybe something was getting called before this got fully instantiated, but it's actually like thousands of messages. So
Yeah, the theory I have is that Network Manager, maybe in the source code of Network Manager, there's some other thing that's getting called that tells the Unity runtime to treat that object in a special way. Does that make sense? Um, like, does it get cached somewhere? It's very mysterious because if you look at clienteffects.cs,
yeah,
this static variable called instance is getting assigned. And so the fact that it's missing means that the Unity runtime, when it like recompiles the scripts, it's like rerunning a different C# program, right? It's like almost like a different memory space, right? Because this is a global, like that instance is a global variable. So the only thing that would unset a global variable to null is if like you're running a completely different program, right? Like if this was TypeScript for JavaScript, for example, or if it's C, and you assign a global variable from 0 to 1, the only thing that's going to set that back to 0 is either you have some explicit code that does that, which clearly we don't have, or you are rerunning the program, right?
Well, yeah, it feels it's like Unity has taken. It's like taking the memory of each object and passing it to a new instance, but that seems extremely cumbersome.
Yeah. But somehow, I actually don't know if the network manager is actually surviving the reload of the scripts.
Yeah.
No, so they are doing don't destroy unload.
Oh.
Do you see that in line 7 there?
Yeah.
Can we try calling that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious too, just if this is. I might just find that method, but yeah, I'm just gonna call it anyway.
Is it a mirror thing or is it a? This is a Unity thing, right?
This is a Unity thing. Oh, because is it
Object not
that it's
destroyed on
starting?
change. Okay, yeah, this makes sense.
scene.
This is what we want.
Oh,
So you pass it game object, not this.
Okay.
It's a little bit confusing, but
Wait, really?
I think so. Wait, what is it? What is it doing? What is it? What is the example doing? It's complaining about something.
Sorry.
Yeah, game object.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay. So instance is this. And then you call don't destroy on load in awake. Okay.
Although it looks like they're doing some safety there, which is saying like if the instance is not set. I don't understand why they would need to do this, but maybe
because if awake gets called multiple times,
it does.
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite logic. If
Yeah,
instance is null, yeah.
And if we wake up and it's there, we kill it.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, line 26 should never get called unless Unity somehow instantiates the object twice. Yeah. I guess we could throw an exception here if we wanted to really like be very aggressive about this notion.
I'm down with that too.
We might want to. Oh, you're not running.
Start.
You're not running. Sorry.
Yeah. Gotta be in my green mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't work.
Still doing it.
Okay.
Didn't work.
I'm
I know.
I'm out of ideas.
Interesting. Okay. The notion that it's reloading the scene makes sense. It never calls don't show this.
I think
it does log
with the
Discord.
multiplayer game too is going to be a little bit. Yeah. I mean, not all games have to be multiplayer, right? I think there's a whole conversation we need to have about what conditions actually initiate the game. Like there needs to be like some kind of player choice in terms of how many players are going to be there, right? Matchmaking, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. I did change it to awake, which
is wrong.
Well, based on what we know,
it shouldn't be wrong.
Well, since it's a network object, we should be using OnStart client. I thought. Oh, public phone. Override. Public override void. One last try for that, at least.
Yeah. I think the linter setup, like the analyzer configuration that we got, like there's a standard Unity one. It basically knows that certain lifestyle functions are commonly not annotated with public override. So that's why we didn't have to add that for Awake. But I think OnStart client is unique to Mirror, which is just like some third-party library. So the linter is not configured to like know about that function.
Makes sense. All right. Well, no dice. I'm going to restore this.
Okay. The use case of reloading the thing in the middle of the game would be nice, but I think it'll take a little bit of finagling. It seems like.
And it's like a little dubious too.
Sure.
Yep.
We got 15 minutes. What do you want to do?
I feel like we learned a thing. That is a great question. What have we got?
Can we take off double damage before we forget about that?
I am so sorry. Yeah.
No, don't worry about it. I almost forgot, so I was like, maybe we should make sure. Oh, I think you already took care of it.
I think I did. I think somewhere in the back of my head, It was already there.
Yeah. Nice.
Let's just see. Where is the document of the ideas?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah. Okay. We got some of these.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a health bar in here, isn't there? I totally forgot about that. Rotate the tank body. Check. Did we want to do anything else with that? I think it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. I'm going to suffer through the exceptions and the weird reloading because.
So building, I think, is the next big challenge.
Yeah, I think so. I forgot there's also this. Ooh, that doesn't work anymore. Okay. Or does it? Oh. Oh, shit. I'm in the void.
The upside down.
Yeah. Okay, some things don't work as well as they used to, probably because I was depending on the client server have the same memory behavior in a way I did not expect. So I guess this restart button, let's see what's going on here. I put together, it's the scene script.
Okay.
And it's supposed to just load the scene again. Like that's the restart mechanism, is we just start the scene over.
Okay. What relationship does the network connection have to the scene?
Well, we're telling the server to change the scene, so it's syncing it to other clients. It's restarting for everyone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it should just work.
Yes. Should just work.
But something is weird is happening, right? Because it's...
Yeah, this worked before.
Okay. But it is warning us. It's saying, don't destroy unload only works for root game objects or components on root game objects. Is it complaining because I put it into a sub manager folder?
Into managers? I'm wondering about that. Yeah.
That's annoying.
A little bit.
Maybe don't destroy unload should just be on that manager's object, actually. But
can we do that?
We'd have to add a script, but let's not worry about it for now.
Okay. Cool.
So you can go ahead and drag that out. And
yeah. As I say, we could nest stuff under here.
Yeah.
And this, yeah. The player script is actually. Oh, I think the player sets this on its own. Yeah.
The fact that the visual organization of your game objects is coupled to the actual scene graph hierarchy, I suppose it's okay, but like it kind of annoys me.
It's a little weird. Kill me faster.
Okay, that's better, right? That was the issue before.
Yep. That was the issue. And you know what? I'm back with the mouse is working, the whole scene reloaded.
Yeah. So maybe we should move the client.
And look at this hierarchy now. Yeah, look what happened over here. This is new.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, I was gonna say, let's just see what we get over here too. Because if this is doing something akin to a scene reload, that actually could matter.
We didn't add that to don't destroy unload because we got rid of the code. So like if you made this don't destroy unload, I bet it would work.
Okay.
But I wouldn't worry.
Yeah, it's fair. I'm just gonna put this in here.
Okay.
When I wonder, so.
And then you need to move it out of the manager's pseudo folder.
That's correct.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I saw there's a duplicate network manager, which is unexpected. Why is this? Why is client effects blue? Okay. Probably just prefab.
Yeah.
Which is the only one that's visible right now, I think. Okay, so now client effects is over here.
Okay.
Nothing in the console. Come on, you can do it.
Oh.
Nope. It cannot do it. That's really weird. Okay.
The
It's
object
really, really
exists. I don't know what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's there.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is how I handled the singleton before,
Okay.
which is this scene manager is basically
That's
that.
totally fine. I mean, if you want to do it that way, I'm down.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't see why this shouldn't work.
I don't understand it either. Yeah.
Yeah. But if we were to replace this with, oops. Nope. And effects.
Yeah. That's just like super fucking slow though, right? That's just like well, it would be slow if you have like 10,000 game objects, which we will eventually. Because it's got to like linear search over all of them.
Yeah, and I guess one way to fix it is to cache this where it's called, but that seems really silly. I feel like, I mean, there's a reason you did what you did, and it's better. Let's just see if this works. It's gonna be stupid. I guess I should restart it too. It really bothers me that you have to put it at the root of the hierarchy for destroy and let work. That just feels very wrong. Hey, it's a different error.
Okay.
Object reference is client effects get build cursor called when client was not active.
I don't know.
Yep. All right, good enough for me. Let me put this back where it was. Oh no, this one was good. But the shooter. Yeah, okay. Anyway, you were saying the builder is the next big thing, and I think that's right.
Yeah.
At the very least, we can talk through what we're going to do to it. We've got the cursor.
Yeah, we can maybe just make right click spawn walls, snapping to where the mouse cursor is as a kind of like initial thing.
That seems pretty good to me, yeah. And I'm okay if they're off the grid at this point too, actually.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, let's just spawn some walls right now.
Okay.
What is controlling the mouse? You've got the get builder cursor. Oh, it's the shooter. Cool. I guess it is the shooter. And then we have get mouse button down. Oh, I assume this is probably just 1 or 2 to get the right button, huh?
I'm guessing mouse button 1 is the middle mouse button, mouse button 2 is the right mouse button.
Cool. All right, so just fork this real quick on that.
Yeah.
And we'll do a spawn wall instead.
Yes.
Oops. Instantiate on prefab. I guess we'll have to pass that in. There is no rotation. And well, we're not tracking creators on walls, so that's fine. quick and dirty building, but
Yeah. And I think the position we pass in is where the cursor is and not the tank's position.
That is a great point. And we actually have cursor.transform that position, and that'll just be that, huh?
Yep.
Nice.
And then we need to get rid of lines 32 to 35, I think.
Oh, yeah. What is it? Instantiate? Oh, this just wants rotation. Okay, so I'll give it the identity.
Nice.
And once it recompiles, I can give it the prefab, the things it wants. I do like that Unity kind of makes sense.
Yeah. There's a lot of this that's like kind of nicely arranged. It definitely takes care of like the 80% of common things you want to do.
Yeah. Okay, so
Was I wrong about button 2?
maybe. Let's find out.
Dang.
I'm gonna Google.
Sorry.
Well, don't beat yourself up, Jeff. I was gonna say I'm on a trackpad, so I don't even know how many buttons I have.
Oh. That is the opposite of what the web does, right? I think the web treats it's like left to right. Yeah.
I have the intuition that there's 0, 1, 2.
Yeah.
And if that's from the browser,
It should probably
that makes
be an
sense.
enum, right? They should have probably made an enum.
Given the rest of Unity's very fancy interface, I'm super surprised that they're just like, oh yeah, like just pass it by integer here. Like you don't want to know what the right mouse button is. Right. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. It is fighting a.
Nice.
Wow,
There's obviously collision detection we'll need to do. I'm curious to know.
Let's try it.
How we're going to represent a grid and how we're going to do I would love to make the builder a little thing that flies around and has to move around walls and stuff. And
that would be very cool.
It would be very cool. But then we need to do pathfinding, and they have notions of nav meshes, but then we'd have to align the nav mesh to the. I don't know. It's a whole challenging thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the nav mesh, the like game objects aren't part of the nav mesh. Game objects are like obstacles, which is like a different notion in the nav mesh world. But if we had some kind of grid representation in memory, in the that's at the scene level or something like that, that would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be very, very interesting, right? Because we can't just stick it on the grid. There is no grid.
Yeah, I mean we can align the objects, right? We can align the objects to like specific points by like basically rounding down the X and Z position, I suppose.
I was just about to. I was just letting you know because I was curious what units we're working with. It should be like everything is one Unity unit here, right? Like it's 1 meter.
Yes, every cube is 1.
Nice. Gosh, why don't just like? Is there?
Is it not following your logs?
No, how do I get this to follow? That's all I want.
Is it the kind of thing where as soon as you scroll, it stops tracking?
Yeah, so now it's good.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, so it's like, yeah, rounding would actually be nice. So I was going to say, let's just do that here.
Okay. Yep.
Well, I wanted that to work. I guess I could do C#.
Can you just do dot round? Because they're floats. I actually don't know if floats are objects, so.
Oh, was I being a heathen and using a lowercase? No.
What language is this? This is .NET 5. Seems like system. Are we not using system? Like we need to import system.
Do we actually?
Yeah,
Do we have access to that?
we do. That's probably part from Mono. I'm guessing. Yeah, there you go.
Well, damn. Okay.
Math.round the Z as well.
And cannot convert.
Wait. Oh, is math dot? What is math dot round? What is the signature? It takes doubles. There should be a float version of that, shouldn't there? Ah, fuck me. That's just
there's a decimal version. Yeah, it's very annoying. I'm gonna just be dumb and say Unity round float because I wonder if they just dropped one in here. Nope. Wow.
Are people just casting?
Yeah.
Math F dot round.
Get out of here with that, man.
Yeah,
you do
whatever.
that to
That's
me?
great. Fuck it. I'm into
Did this go into? And this is in Unity core. It's not in C#. Okay.
it. Okay, yeah.
Goodbye.
Do you not feel good? Is that?
That didn't make me feel good. No.
Okay, yeah.
I'm glad it's there. It was nice of them.
I'm
to put it
very
there for
curious
us.
what this looks like.
Me too. Is the hollow cube snapped to the center, or is it aligned?
No,
on
so
center?
that's the cursor is centered around the. This is actually a little bit surprising to me that it's working.
Yeah, riddle me this. I thought the wall was going to be on it at least.
The wall should be offset, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. The wall's origin is one of the corners, right? So you would think.
Huh. Oh, well, I think we actually oriented the walls. They're on 0.5. I mean, I was just going to do that.
Okay. Maybe
suggest something more reasonable?
I made the walls do what they do because it was easier to lay them out. It was like easier to line them up with the Pro Builder grid.
Yeah, should we just? Or you made them do this or the current model? Because I guess. Sorry, you said it's on the corner.
Oh wait, no, never mind.
I think they're centered. Yeah.
I see. So the prefab has some weird offset. Why? So that's new, or I didn't know that.
Well,
that happened.
this is the orientation in the world. The prefab should have nothing. Yeah.
Like if we go to the prefab, is it centered on the origin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's. Oh, yeah, what? It was because of the collision, right? Because the collision volume needs to be centered.
Gotcha. And we're offsetting by half a unit.
Yes.
In our grid to match this grid.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, everything is basically on that. Okay.
Fine.
Except for these turrets that I just put anywhere.
So yeah, I think you had the right idea. Let's just like add half a tile. Yeah.
It'll look good at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel yeah.
Were we in the prefab when you hit play? Is that what happened right there?
I'm not sure what happened when I hit play and it didn't do anything.
That feels good though.
It feels off from my cursor. I think I want to subtract half a tile actually.
Okay.
I don't know why that's the case.
You would think that this would just feel off in the other direction, right? That would be the.
I would. It felt really good in the when I was placing them off the grid. So it's
Yeah.
probably impossible to correct without fixing how we do that.
What if we did minus 0.5 and then round? Or does this feel fine?
This actually feels a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that feels right.
I mean, this looks really cool.
Looks pretty cool. The
Take it. Yeah.
tank got a little
That's the way to solve
chunky.
that
I
problem.
mean,
Yeah.
we did make the tank a little bigger, I think.
Yeah. So just by adding the tank rotation and adding the ability to build these walls, this game already feels like a more interesting game, right?
Already more of a game, yeah.
Yeah.
God, being able to place walls like this is great too, because
Yeah.
there's some real nice. This feels faster and more responsive than Manchester ever did.
Yeah.
Already. I love it. Cool tank. I really want to add line of sight to the turrets too. I did the dumb implementation where they just look at you.
Yeah,
but
that's fine.
Well, I know we have raycasting here because Unity's very
We do.
Unity has that available to us, so it'd be nice to pop that on.
It's just the physics raycast. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Although I think for pathfinding, it may still be useful for us to have some kind of global grid representation that knows where the obstacles are. That becomes a challenge when we start talking about terrain as well, and how to if we have elevations, how do we deal with that? Maybe elevations we'll just deal with later, right? I think that's
We could take this out.
an
Yeah.
additional challenge that maybe we don't need, because it's not adding anything to the game right now, right?
No, and it adds complication and mystery. I can shoot. Oops. Oh no! What did I do? I modified this scene. Yeah, I can shoot over stuff, which is weird.
Oh yeah. Is there a log that tells you what you did to the scene?
No, I mean, if I stop it, it's fine. I think I put a tree in a tree.
Oh, okay.
I nested a tree. It's fine. Everything's fine. Put client effects back in managers.
Nice. Well,
This could be worse. Yeah, we did great.
I think we did good.
Yes.
Nice work. Feel good to be back
Likewise.
feel good to be back behind the saddle or out on the saddle.
Back in the saddle. Yeah.
In the saddle,
does.
behind the wheel, whatever the expression you may choose.
The tank kind of looks like a saddle right now.
Yeah.
It's getting more saddle shaped by the day.
Yeah.
Is this 109?
109. We're getting old.
Do I have a pithy phrase to go with this? Fine. What is it? Don't. That one. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Nope.
It's bad.
Don't have that shortcut here. I love the one thing my work machine did that I really love is that it came with this shortcut for git push origin main. It's just really cute. I keep forgetting to set it up on this computer.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. The aliases are kind of scare me a little bit because I'm just too used to, when I have multiple computers, I start worrying that my muscle memory won't transfer.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that makes sense.
But if you have a
this
dot
is
files,
forced.
if you have I
should do that.
I have a dot files repo in my GitHub, and I think I can probably sync my git config as well. I have a few.
I think you
Git
can,
aliases, yeah. I have
I
one
think
called
this
Git
is a Z shell
Remaster.
alias too.
What's that?
So I think it's a Z shell alias. So it definitely should sync via dot files.
Okay, cool.
What does Git remaster do?
My Git Remaster, it does a fetch, and then it does a interactive rebase over either origin main or origin master, depending on which one of those exists. Because I do
I love
that
it.
all the time.
Yeah, that's really, really necessary.
Yeah.
Git remaster. I could get that under my fingers. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
It exists.
I think you can just make a file called git-remaster, and Git knows how to find those.
Is that how that works? I've seen those. I never quite understood why they were. It's just not
That's
good.
how some of these subcommand tools work. Is they have a parent thing. They have a parent command that just is foobar, and then it just looks in your path for foobar hyphen stuff. I think that's what Git does, though. Or Git has that capability, because I think that's my Git remaster. Let me check.
That's
Not
pretty
that
cool.
this matters that much, but, you know, it's interesting.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I have a bunch of Git commands in my. It turns out I've Git Postland, which came from my chain days.
That was a good one.
Git PR, which opens the PR view in GitHub for my current thing.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, it's nice. That's great because I can just like switch over to the when I've like created a branch, I push it up to origin, I type Git PR, and it takes me to GitHub, and I can create the PR right there.
I like that. Yeah. Nice.
And then yeah, remaster. I think it's what we said. Yeah, it's just a fetch and an interactive rebase. There are some repos where at work where people don't do you have to have like a clean history. So they'll just like they'll do merge commits, and there's just like 50 billion like fix bug, fix typo thing. And it's weird when you get into those discussions with people who feel strongly but opposite of you. I'm not saying that either party is right or wrong, but it's just so weird how religious it is, how just like clearly obvious that you should have static typing, how clearly obvious it should be that you that you have a clean Git history, like linear Git histories. Speaking of Git, I was reading this. I'll send it to you offline, but I was reading this argument between Git contributors and the Git maintainer about the notion of the index versus like giving it a different name. Yeah, you're giving me a face because you don't even know what it is, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So you know how when you do Git add,
Yeah.
you put these files somewhere, but they haven't been added to a commit object yet, right? That
Gotcha.
area in the plumbing of Git, you know how there's like plumbing versus porcelain in Git? There's like all these like interior kind of like how stuff works internally versus like what the UI does. There's a proposal to rename that area in the porcelain, which is the UI stuff, to the stage or the staging area, which is a much better name. And
That's a great name.
They
yeah.
wanted to change the Git add to Git stage. So Git stage this file.
Wow.
Like it's like the cloud's suddenly clear, right? It's so obvious that it's better. And
That's way better.
there's this
Is there
blog
a fight
post
about this? They should just do it.
they've been talking about it for 10 years. There's this blog post
Oh.
about how basically every contributor to Git is like, yeah, I think this is better. But like the maintainer is like dug in and like coming up with these like ridiculously contradictory like arguments on like there was this one argument that he made which was like, oh, the stage doesn't translate well to other languages. That was his criterion, was that like how well does an English word translate into other languages literally? Because like the word stage has connotations and it also represents like a wooden thing that you have plays on. So like
Whatever.
and the maintainer's not a
No.
native English speaker, which is not a reason to bias against them, but it's like if your
I'm
UI
so
is in
skeptical.
English, you should just use the direct meaningful word for that. And
Do people in other countries type something other than Git add? Is it
no, it's
internationalized?
that the documentation gets translated.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good, then it'll be translated correctly.
I think what it was is they picked a bad name for it originally, and they don't understand why it's a big deal.
Yeah. Wait, is this Linus or is this someone else?
It's Junio Hamano.
Okay. Is it a maintainer?
Yeah, he's the maintainer. I think he's
Gotcha.
like the son of Linus. So I think there wasn't like Git got handed to him. So, but yeah, I bring this story up because it's just like hearing how I don't know how technical disagreements get resolved, honestly. Like, because it's just like there are things that should just be obviously better, but people are like, no. I'm attached to this thing for some reason, and
Yeah,
because
you
I'm
need people who are willing to like be like, you know what, fine, try it your way. But that's never been an open source maintainer that I've met.
yeah. Are you debating on what should we just go full ISO? Is that what you're thinking?
I really like ISO.
ISO
Sorry, I
is
cut
good.
you off though. You're gonna finish sentence. I'm sorry.
No, no. My thought is just like I hope I have strong opinions about things. I hope I don't get to a point where I'm in a project where I reject good ideas. Because I just see that in and it like I also like wish that like I hope it's just not pure relativism where it's just like there are no good ideas. It's just everybody's subjective preference, right? Um, in which case you can't really get anything done, and it's just really more of like the social hierarchy that determines what happens, right? That's
Yeah,
my
and
software engineering pondering for the day.
I was gonna say I've seen people dig in, and I've seen people also just change course with whoever feels most strongly that day,
Yes.
and both go badly. So yeah,
Yeah,
both
you
can
want
go
to have
badly.
principled decisions behind things, and you want to also have to get as close to consensus as possible as well. I think is a good thing as well.
Yep. Well, if it were easy, we'd have Git stage.
All right. Well, at any rate, I'm going to let you go because it's getting late over there. I
Thank
was
you. Yeah, thanks for the
trying
earlier
to
Monday stream.
think. I wonder if the Thursday stream should also be 6:30.
Up to you. I know it's a harder time for you.
I think we should
you tell me.
try it. I think we should try
Okay.
it because I think it's from a communication perspective. It's easier to say our stream is at 6:30 to 8:30 these 2
Okay.
days. Yeah, and I know that the tweet that's a little bit of like the cart pulling the horse a little bit, but like it's simpler for a variety of different reasons, right?
Yeah, and we can update the website, and it'll be one sentence instead of two. As long as that doesn't mess you up, I'm into it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because once the time is different for multiple days, that becomes a bullet list rather than a single sentence, right?
Yep, exactly. All right, cool.
Okay, awesome. Well, I will see
Have a good
you
night. Yeah.
online, but I see everybody Thursday.
See y'all.